everybody.
Yep. Hey, you know what, Nikki? First of all, how you doing? How you doing today? Okay.
I'm good. I'm so much better than last week. Remember how I was having a hard time
You know what?
coughing and that for the interview, but no, I'm just like 100% better. How are you doing?
Hey.
Happy Turkey Day.
You know what? Thank you. Thank you, as a matter of fact. I'm glad you put it that way, Turkey Day, too. Because, I had started to kind of change my view. You know what? When I was young growing up, I had a certain view on things. And then as I got older and started to, really learn about history and things like that, because I love history, I started to be rather delicate with my wording of things. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I enjoy the day when it comes to eating and things like that, and all the good food that gets passed around, because it's always good to eat. It's a blessing to have this delicious food we have. But I don't thoroughly celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. Just particularly for certain reasons that have to do with history. I know a lot of people out there probably listening to me, and a lot of them probably know why. You know what I'm saying? And then there's those who may not necessarily know why. But that's just me. That's just how I am. So hey, but it's been cool. It's been great. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And then you got a football game to catch, right? Everybody's going to be glued to the TV later on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that myself. I'm not, I haven't even checked out who's playing today. All I know is it's football coming on, so that's that's what I'm gonna be watching. So yeah. Speaking of that, while we on the holiday, Thanksgiving in Canada is in October.
Yeah, it passed. It was usually the second Monday of October. Yeah. So it's funny, but we still have to kind of figure out, or maybe the reason why it's so different.
You know what? I kind of still have to look into the originality of that, but I do. What I do know necessarily, there's a difference, and I guess the one in October comes with possibly a little more originality, depending on where it extended from. I'm not sure, but I do know the one that is in America, for instance, is celebrated, just simply because of what happened, years ago. Because actually, in case a lot of people don't know, Native Indians were really the first people, which most people know the Native Indians were the first on American soil. But a lot of people might not know the Native Indians actually that was on American soil actually were celebrating Thanksgiving first originally. They prayed and stuff like that for being able to harvest food and the corn that they grew, because they were amazing planters back in the day. And so somewhere around 1620, in the 1600s, so around 1620 and 1621, when the settlers came over to America, and the whole thing about them trading food, or the Indians teaching them how to plant and crop and things of that nature. Well, what eventually happened, and don't nobody out there get mad at me, because it's just truth. You can't deny history. It is as real as it is. But what happened is, when the war went down between the Indians and the settlers and the Pilgrims, they really demolished a lot of the Native Indians once they were taught how to plant crops and things like that. And so from that day on, Thanksgiving became a celebration that really represented the genocide of the Native Indians. It really became something that was celebrated, and they used to run around with the Native Indians' heads on sticks and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I do know that's where the American one came from. They had so many days, as a matter of fact. Every time they did it, every time they would slaughter Indians, they would have something called Thanksgiving. They would have these celebrations, until eventually Abraham Lincoln, they had so many of them that George Washington said, look, there's too many celebrations of these slaughters. So what happened is, Abraham Lincoln eventually made it one day. And so that's where we got ours from. So that's just my thing about why I don't really celebrate it. A lot of people don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it came from. A lot of Native Indians today, as a matter of fact, are really really look at this as a mourning day. So yeah, so that that's a bit
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's
Lots of history.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So once again, I look at it like, hey, on days like this, it's good to be thankful for just your friends, your family, thankful for the food and things like that people have to eat. But
the simple things.
Right,
simple
right.
Things. And all of a sudden it became like Black Friday and this like completely commercialized event, and that's really not what it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
So it's a good reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I say, that's just something for the youngsters. I think it's important for people in generations to kind of know it's all right to do it. Celebrate anything you want to, but celebrate it with positiveness, and also just kind of know where the stories come from, because you just never know nowadays. So
you never know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so I think that has a bit to do with the difference in why the holidays are separated at different times. It actually breaks down to a geographical difference. Because American soil was founded and colonized at a different time than Canadian soil. You see what I'm saying? So the influence, like with Canada being a more multicultural country and stuff like that, a lot of things that get celebrated over in countries that are more multicultural actually have the original meanings and the real meanings. So they kind of get the real holidays sometimes. Whereas in America, we kind of get, from time to time, we get the story that was kind of laid upon us. You know what I'm saying? If you know what I mean.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So for those who don't know, that's why there's probably.
Now you know.
Yeah.
You broke it down for us, Keith. Thank you for all that information. That's good.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So
yeah, no doubt.
I'm one step ahead.
No doubt.
When someone asks me, I will be able to explain it to them. What the difference is.
Yeah.
So we've got a great show coming up. Thanksgiving edition of Throwback Thursdays. And please welcome Makini Smith. Hi. Thanks for having me. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by and sharing the good news, the gospel of stilettos. We want to hear, the journey that you've documented in this amazing book. So tell me, how did you get to that point, that day when you had the direction to write a book? When was that? Wow. Okay. So I guess maybe during the process of going through my divorce back in 2010, I would tell people stories of, the experiences that I've been through, what was happening in my life, and they're like, that's just unreal. You need to write a book. And for the longest while, I kept saying, okay, I guess, one day I'll write a book. And I joined a few women's groups and realized that sharing my story was helping other women within the group. And that's when I decided I really do need to write a book. I need to share the story to help inspire and empower other women.
Okay. And sorry, Makini, when you wrote this book, like, kind of what were your feelings of what you was going through? Was it like in a relationship world or?
Well, the book has pretty much a broad range of experiences where I feel like every person probably could connect with some story that's told within the book. So it starts from, my teenage years, getting pregnant at 17. I talk about breakups. I talk about when I met my now ex-husband, when I was 21, taking care of his 4 children. So, raising 7 children. Exactly. I talk about going to college, as in my 20s, meanwhile everyone else is fresh out of high school. I talk about business, becoming an entrepreneur, now being a single mother. I talk about everything.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. And you really have that ability to captivate people when you speak, and I can't wait to actually read the book and dive right into just kind of a snippet of some of the experiences that you've been able to share. Can you take us to one of the chapters, the one that resonates with you the most, and walk us through that resonates with me the most. It's called loss, because in a span of about a year, I lost my sister, who was like my twin, and my grandmother, who had helped raise me since I was, probably 6 or 7 years old. I lost them within the same year, and pretty much in the same manner. So it was a very tough, emotional year for my entire family. And I feel like, although we all took it hard, I kind of used my sister and my grandmother's strength and personalities in terms of being inspiration for other people and that backbone for other people, and became that person to help everyone else heal. So with my sister, the chapter, it starts discussing loss and how we deal with it. And it goes right into my story about her being my best friend, her being my backbone, and us being in church on one Sunday afternoon when she was having trouble breathing, and decided to go to the emergency room just to get checked out. And that night, they decided to keep her for observation, and she went into cardiac arrest and was in a coma for 3 weeks before she eventually went brain dead. And we sat there day in and day out, the entire family in that waiting room, every day for 3 weeks. And it was pretty much a repeated year later with my grandmother, where she had a stroke and was in a coma for, I believe it was 2 weeks, and died of brain damage. So it was reliving it. So that was probably the hardest chapter for me to write.
Wow.
I can just imagine.
Yeah.
But what can you teach us from these lessons of loss? Chapter. With both losses, I mean, we all lose people at some point. No one lives forever, but it's how you deal with it. Right. And instead of mourning their loss, we celebrated their life. We wore, as a family, white to my sister's funeral. We released doves. It was all more of a celebration. People were pretty much in awe, at the reception, that we played music that my sister would love, and we danced. And, yes, of course we cried, but it was a celebration of her life rather than mourning her loss. Mourning her loss, right. Yeah. How old was she, Makini, when she passed? She was 39.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
So you have all these recollections of experiences, and you decide to publish it. How did you go about it? What route did you take? Is it self-published, or did you go to a publisher? So originally, I had connected with the publisher online, asked a few questions, and he told me that he could look at my synopsis and let me know if I had a good book. And when I did send it to him, he said, this is great, I'd love to publish you. We met, and he gave me a publishing contract. After writing the book, things just didn't work out. My visions didn't mesh well with his work ethic, and I decided to switch publishers. So instead of going through him, I chose a smaller, more, I'd call it more of a petite publishing company. So she's new, but it's more along the lines of going self-published, but she has all of the tools that you need, all of the editors and the graphic designers and everybody that you would need to be published. And it was more in alignment, yes, with what I'm trying to do. Her focus was empowering and inspiring other women as well.
Oh.
Okay, all right. And it's very important because I am an author, so it took 2 years for me to put my book together, and not because I couldn't have done it sooner. It's because this is your baby that you're birthing, exactly. Metaphorically, and you want to make sure that you have the right care all around it. And so, however long, whoever it is, it just takes that amount of time. So now it's out. And where can people get a copy of the book? So the official release date is January 15th. Okay. We'll have pre-release copies that are going to be released online within the next couple weeks. Okay. So they'll have some on the site, which is walkinmystilettos.com. That'll be available. We're going to have a limited amount of copies, autographed copies that'll be available for pre-release order. Okay, and I guess book signings those are coming up as well. Yes, so we're kind of finalizing all those dates. Yes, that'll be exciting. I will be announcing all those dates as well. That's amazing. And are you partnering with any bookstores? I know. I don't know if I'm allowed to name them right now, but it should be in all the big bookstores. Okay. It'll be available online, like through Amazon, iTunes, all of those things as well.
Okay.
Fantastic. How do your children feel about? Sorry, Keith. No. How do your children feel about you putting this book together? Because a lot of it is, telling of their experience because you're in it together. Yes. I'm very, very close with my kids, very open with them, and as much as I'm transparent in the book, I'm transparent with my kids. So they're proud. They want to be involved in everything that I'm doing. If I'm doing an interview or something, they want to be in the audience. If I'm going somewhere, they want to be a part of it. They're excited. They're not afraid of what I've written because they know my nature. I wouldn't write anything that would hurt them or jeopardize them in any way, and everything that I do is for them. So they're excited.
Right.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I think the question I was just getting ready to ask, you really just kind of answered it right then, because what I was going to say is what was your most positive life experience in general that you wrote about in your book, but then as you say your kids, they must have been, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The most positive, I mean, there is a chapter in there about single motherhood, and I guess when I went through the divorce and separation about 4 years ago, that was, next to losing my sister, probably one of the hardest experiences that I ever had to get through, although it was my choice. And it did affect the kids, but for them to see how I was able to come through that on top, and I was still able to provide for them and give them, the things that their friends that come from two-parent homes have, and doing all these things while, being an entrepreneur and being able to do that while going through the divorce, I would say that's a pretty positive chapter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's quite remarkable, so congratulations for, thank you, just having the tenacity to do that, because it is hard. It's a very hard road to walk on, so good for you. Thank you.
Now, I know you writing your book, Makini, and I know, I guess it's kind of a question for you also, Nikki, as well. When you sit down to write a book, like, where do you begin? Because when you're telling a story, right? Because once you're into the book, maybe 30, 40 pages, I don't know, I guess you're off and running, but how do you know where to start?
For myself,
yeah.
I had to sit and think about, where did my story really begin? Where did my life start that made it different from everybody else's?
Okay.
Or, where someone could take something from or learn something from, and that was when I got pregnant at 17.
Okay. So it didn't necessarily have to start from a childhood. Like if you're writing this book about your life and what you've been through, but it didn't necessarily have to start, from a baby or from, just a youngster.
No, I mean, I mentioned little bits before that about growing up and just watching my mother being a strong single mother, but my story itself really starts in my teenage years.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
What do you see yourself doing after the book? Is there going to be another book coming out, or maybe, or? Well, I definitely do not feel that this is my last book. I've actually already started writing my next book, so hopefully things go well with this one, and I'll be ready to release my next one by next year. And I mean, if this book does well enough, I mean, it does have enough of a plot and twists and turns that it could be a movie someday. Hey, why not? Okay, or maybe a TV series. We'll talk. I know, sure. I know some people.
Now, when people read this book, is it giving out the dramatic feel to it? Are there sections in the book where women are gonna go, oh, I can't believe that happened, and just kind of want to jump, throw the book down, spin around, pick it back up, like, oh my goodness, like, is there some like it really gets deep on them, you know what I mean? What can they expect? What kind of feelings and emotions can they expect?
There is a wide range of emotions in this book. I've had two women read this book so far that basically said, there's chapters in there where they were absolutely furious with my ex. There's chapters in there where they couldn't stop crying, which was, the chapter about loss. There's so many different emotions within the book that I don't know. It's such a wide range.
Okay.
I had a very influential woman who, her name will be released once, because she's written the foreword, so I don't want to say just yet. But she said she couldn't put the book down. She just couldn't wait to get to the next part to see what actually happened.
Okay. All right.
That's amazing. I can't wait to get my copy. It's coming.
Where?
It's coming. It's coming. What do you want to teach women, especially? What is the one liner that you want them to learn from this book? If I can do it, you can do it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many women out there going through so many things, and I hear stories all the time. Women that experience stuff and it's slipped under the rug, and they're suffering, they're having their own pity parties in their own bedrooms, and it's like life does go on. It definitely does. We all go through struggle. It's just how we deal with it.
Okay.
And I believe there's power in numbers, as I'm sure that you subscribe to the same philosophy that if you can come out and be candid as you are, Makini, with a group of people, men and women included, and really share your heart. There's so much healing that goes on internally, and also through other people are learning through your story and healing as well. And I think that's why I really had a great conversation with you when you came to the Nikki show and you shared your story. So honestly, that really helps people. It definitely does. I can't tell you how important that is, to be honest. I feel like there's so many women out there that feel like they're alone in their situations because they don't talk about it. And when they hear that someone else has gone through it and probably gone through it worse or just the same as them, but come out on top, then they can feel they can do it too. Right. Now, I have to ask this. Some of the people that you've mentioned in the book, your ex-husband and probably some other characters that influenced you, positively through their negativity, have they reacted to the book? Have they said anything to you? Not so much. I mean, my ex knows that I'm writing a book. We have never been on the greatest terms since the divorce anyway. And I'm not bashing him in the book. It's, it's just facts. It's facts. It's facts. Like it or not, it's facts. It is what it is.
Okay.
Well, I'm just, really proud of everything that you've been able to accomplish. You're a young woman, and you've got your, head, on very straight. You're a role model. You're a motivational speaker, and a very gifted writer and mother. And anything we can do to support you, right behind you. So thank you so much for your time to share. And where can people, contact you? Maybe they want to. Maybe this is the time now they want to come out and share their story, and they feel you're the right person to listen, or find a copy or get a copy of the book. Well, I am definitely all over social media. On Facebook, there's the new page for the book just went out, I believe, yesterday. It's A Walk in My Stilettos. I like that as a name. There you go. On Twitter, it's Makini Smith. On Instagram, it's The Real Makini Smith. Google Plus, I'm everywhere.
Okay.
Good.
Quick now. Because from the sounds of it, it sounds like the book gets really deep, and there's a lot of things, as you say, that women can learn from it. Is this book going to have its parts in it that, when women read it, they're going to kind of look over at their husbands or just different parts in life and be thinking to themselves, wait a minute, I didn't know this all the time. You know what I'm saying? And kind of reevaluate things, like, some lessons that they can learn that maybe they have not noticed at first, that they're realizing from your book now.
There's definitely some good nuggets in there that women can walk away and take notes and tips to share with their friends. It's not just my story. There's the lessons within it.
Okay.
There's a few spots in there where I just number it out for them to keep it simple. So there's definitely things in there where that'll help them, that they can look at and say, well, next time I can deal with the situation better, or if this is how I'm dealing with the situation, here's how I can handle it better.
Okay.
Definitely things in there that'll help them.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty much, you kind of broke down pretty much what I was trying to say. Like, reading it, when they read it, it sounds like it's going to be an interesting story, but that's what I was wondering. Are they going to be able to pick up things and then kind of relate it to themselves, which I'm sure they will.
For
but
sure,
yeah.
definitely.
Okay. All right. That's wonderful.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. But the men might not. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I say the men might not want to pick it up though, right? Or
I'm sure there's some stories in there the men will find interesting.
Right, at least interesting, right? Where they were like, okay, hold on, don't let my lady get a hold of this. You know what I've been doing, right? So okay.
Makini, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for again taking the time and doing what you do. I applaud you, and I'm going to be seeing you December 6th, right, at Entrepreneurs on the Rise. You're one of the speakers. I am. I will be speaking, so we'll get to talk again. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Makini, you've got a throwback favorite that you requested. Can you tell everybody what that is? Oh boy, that was Justin Timberlake. I chose that song because it sounded like he was referring to someone that had messed around on him, and I'm sure there's many people that have experienced that. Yeah. What was the title of the song? I'm just drawing a blank. Thanks, Nikki. Okay, I'll help you.
Cry me a river. Yeah.
Cry me a river. There we go.
Damn.
All right, Keith, are we ready?
Yes, we are. All right, and again, we want to thank you for coming on to talk to us today on Throwback Thursdays, Makini.
Thanks for having me.
It's been wonderful. All right.
Week, December 4th, on Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah, what is it?
We have Kiran Singh, who is the author of Key to Success.
Oh.
And K-I, is her nickname, because her name is spelled Kirin. So people just call her Key. So she's used that as part of the title, Key to Success. And the book is a very straightforward read on just everything someone needs to know about, money management, relationships, everything. So she's going to be talking to us.
Oh, look, that's going to be heavy right there. I'm all ears.
And you know what?
Huh.
I'm going to share something with you. Kieran used to be a student of mine.
Really?
She was a student of mine in college 15 years ago, and I ran into her at a seminar, and I went up to her and I said, can I get a signed copy of your book? And she looked at me and she says, I know you. And I didn't recognize her, and I said, well, where? So we had this coffee, meeting a week later, and it turns out that we knew each other 15 years back, so.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
That is amazing. You see, look, and you see that, like she was one of your students in the past. How does that make you feel? And one of your students in the past.
That makes me feel deeply proud that, the work, the dedication you put into your craft, into your life, your passion, that people have taken little nuggets, have taken whatever that they have needed to move on with their journey, and I see her as this amazingly powerful woman. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy about that.
That's a big deal. And like I said, I'm gonna definitely be all ears on that one. And I think, I feel like people everywhere, all over the place. Listen, everybody out there, listen. That's gonna be something that you make sure you listen into, because it is always important to find out, as Nikki said, little nuggets and pieces to help with your progression and your success. So we might be talking about money management, or Key might be talking about, yeah, all types of things. So that's a big deal, and congratulations to you, Nikki, on that as well.
Oh, thank you.
You always teach. Somebody's always learning from you, Nikki.
I'm a student of life, so as much as I teach, I like to learn, and I think it's important for people to stay fresh and to learn from each other. So.
Absolutely, no doubt. Like I say, when I started doing this, I did the same thing. I watched how serious Nikki is, and people out there, to tell you something, Nikki is a very serious person too.
Don't scare them, Keith.
Not to do that, not to scare anybody out there, but listen, I just like to make sure that people understand, because in what we do, there's a lot of personality and a lot of character that goes into who we are, and that's understandable. But I also try to make people understand too that, listen, with us comes, it comes style, it comes class, it comes intelligence, and it comes profession. Exactly. So yeah. So no doubt, and commending, again, I commend you for that and all that you did, and thank you for putting me on back in the day too.
Oh no, you're more than welcome, and the same thing for you with what you're doing to uplift the community.
Yeah.
I commend you too, Keith. So it's a wonderful partnership to have, and I'm delighted to spend Throwback Thursdays with you.
Absolutely. I'll never forget how many hands. Nikki was the first person that took me out and had me shaking hands with so many people. You remember that, Nikki?
Yeah, I remember a lot of networking parties, and it was great.
That's
what's really good, and that's what I'm about. If there's a way that I can connect people, I can make it happen, and I'm not selfish that way. I think if people are in a situation where they can be taken to the next level, why stop? Why hold back? Give it to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the blessings will come back to you. They always do.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we'll get ready to roll. I know you got some things you probably got to go take care of, busy lady. So.
Yes, and I know you got some turkey waiting for you.
Oh man.
I'm so envious. Oh no. I love turkey with cranberry, and I don't even want to get myself started. I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah. Well, last time you told me don't say nothing when I mentioned snow, so I won't say anything about But yeah, that's what's up though. Look, make sure you want to go a lot. Make sure are you eating out tonight? It's Thursday night. You eating out? You might cook at home. You don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm going to be going out. A friend of mine passed last week, and there's a memorial service for him tonight. So I'm going to pay my respects and celebrate his life with some friends and have a bite together. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, condolences to that, and go ahead and take us on out.
Alright, well, you have been listening to Throwback Thursdays with myself, Nikki Clark, and Keith Harris. Again, want to wish everyone listening a very happy Thanksgiving. All the best, stay blessed, and we will we'll tune in with you next week, December 4th at 5 o'clock.
That's right, and don't forget also 11 to 12 o'clock Monday through Fridays, tune in to hotlineradio.net also to check out Nikki Clark.
Yeah. You can do that too.
Exactly, right? So you got so much stuff going on, you just forget sometimes, don't you?
I just forget sometimes. Yeah.
No, that's right. All right, y'all. We out, and we'll talk to y'all again December the 4th.
December 4th. Back in Throwback Thursday.